In this episode of Life is Action, I make sourdough bread for the first time, so stick around and see how it turns out. Hey everyone, Troy here. I love to eat. In fact, in my intro video at the very end, there's pictures of me eating a 12-egg omelet. Now, I don't recommend that, but what I do recommend is eating a good loaf of sourdough bread. Sourdough is my favorite kind of bread. There's actually writings of sourdough bread being eaten by the Egyptians and the ancient Romans. Sourdough has been around for a long time, and when it's done right, it's fantastic. So in this episode, we're going to learn how to make sourdough bread. So what we're going to need is, you need your starter. Super important. This starter we got about a year ago, and this is reportedly from its starter from the Alaskan Goldrush. You're also going to need a scale, flour, salt, water, a nice Dutch oven. This one's rather heavy, and some parchment paper. So follow along. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to make some really good sourdough bread. So stay tuned. All right, everyone. This is the first step in the process of making sourdough. My boss, Christine, is off camera, and she's going to walk us through this. All right, what's the first step?
You're going to weigh your bowl.
Okay.
So tare it to 0.
It is at 0.
Okay, now you're going to pour the starter into the bowl.
All right, guys, this is the starter, and this is supposedly from the Alaskan Goldrush. The gold miners would have a small vial of starter that a lot of them would carry around their necks, and that way when they got out to their claims, they could make bread with very minimal ingredients. They didn't have to mess with yeast or anything like that. So by the way, this is the first time I've ever done this, so we'll see what happens. All right, so is that normal to have 2 different starters, or?
Well, it just depends on what you end up with and how many jars you have and
Okay. Well,
how much bread you want to make.
so Christine has been experimenting with this for a while, and in my opinion, she has perfected it. So I'm going to consider her a subject matter expert on this. Okay, so I think we've got it. So this is our starter, and what's next?
Okay, so how many grams? Oh, take the spoon out.
Take the spoon out. Okay.
You're just measuring the product. Okay.
All right, so we have 444 grams. I'll make a note of that. Okay, and now what's next?
Tare it out so it's 0.
Okay. All right, 0.
444 grams of flour.
Okay, very good. All right. And this, you can use any kind of flour. We use this Costco flour. This seems to work pretty good. Okay.
Remember, it's easier to add than to take out.
All right, so I wanted to zoom in on this so you can follow along as I try to get this exactly 444. Oh boy, we're getting close here. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
There it is.
Okay.
All right. So now we're going to tear this out to 0. Is
Yep.
that right? Okay.
Stop.
Okay. And then we're going to add
Water.
Okay. So now we're going to add 444 grams of water. Okay, this is the water. Oh my gosh. Oh! Is that okay to be like
Yeah,
one? Okay.
you're fine.
All right.
Okay, now stir it all up.
All right. So here we go. I'm going to take it off the scale. And we're just going to stir it up. Stir it up. All right. So how many steps are there to this? Like how long will it take to get from this phase to the edible product?
Tomorrow we will use the starter to make the dough and let the dough rise, and then we'll bake on Friday.
Okay guys, so I'm going to stir this and let's circle back tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good.
Hey everybody, so it's been 24 hours since we did the first part, and I want to show you what the dough looks like at this stage. All right, so this is the dough that we started last night, and you can see it's actively sort of bubbling with the fermentation process, I believe it is. And this is what I'm told, this is what you want to see at this stage. So, all right, let's continue with the next part of the process. Okay, so Chris, walk me through this next stage. What is the first thing I need to do?
Well, you're gonna need 3 heaping cups of the starter in that bowl.
Okay, so let's get to it. All right, so 3 heaping cups.
You might need the spatula to get it all out.
Okay. It looks sticky.
Yeah. Wait till you get your hands in it.
All right, so there's 1. There's 2. Yeah, this is really sticky stuff. Lord. Okay, and this is 3. Does that look about right?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so what's next?
Well, you'll need 2 2/3 cup of water.
Okay, so I have that already measured out here. So here's 2 cups here. And here's 2/3. Okay, what is next?
You'll need 1 1/2 tablespoons of salt.
Okay. So,
Like not sea salt or like regular table salt.
1 1/2 tablespoon.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so there's 1, and here's the 1/2. Okay, what's the next thing?
Now you'll add 7 cups of flour.
Okay. Again, I'm using the flour from Costco, but I don't think it really matters. I'm going to add the flour and we'll check back in. So 6, and that's 7 cups of flour. And while I was doing that, Chris put the rest of the starter into the jars that have been cleaned. So this is for the next time. All right, the next thing is to stir all this together, is that right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna work on this. And, okay, so we just use a spatula here. What do you think about that starter? How does that look?
That's the best looking starter I've seen in a while.
Best looking starter right there, everybody.
Those
Okay.
bubbles are magic.
Yeah, that's part of that fermentation process.
Well, we've never had to add any yeast, and I think that's because it's some really quality starter that we began with.
Okay. All right, so what's the consistency of this?
Well, it should be fairly smooth. Like, you shouldn't see any standalone flour. It should be completely mixed in.
All right, and is it fairly firm, like this is, hopefully, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's a dough, so.
Okay. Now, should I be using my hands at a certain point here?
You will tomorrow. I mean, you could, but they'll get pretty sticky at this stage.
So not.
I mean, you can, but you'll definitely you'll be working that with your hands tomorrow for sure.
Okay. All right, so what do you think about this? Does this need to be worked in a little bit more?
A little bit more.
Okay. So give me a preview of tomorrow.
So you're going to cover this and put it in the refrigerator tonight.
Okay.
And then tomorrow we're going to split it into 2 bowls, cover them, and let it rise.
Okay.
And then every 30 to 45 minutes, you're going to take it out and you're going to fold it in half and then fold that in half again. And we'll follow that process tomorrow. But you'll do that several times.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Well, let's stop here for now and check back in tomorrow. All right, guys, so it's been about 12 hours. This was put in the refrigerator last night, and you can see that saran wrap is really bubbled up. You can tell that there's some fermentation going on. All right, so stand by for the next step. All right, so it's been about 12 hours since we did the last step. Now in this step, what are we doing?
You're going to separate it into 2 separate batches because we're going to make 2 loaves out of that.
2 loaves. All right, so you can see this is sort of what it looks like in this form. And I think I'm getting my hands dirty on this one. All right, so kind of pull it away from the sides.
Yep.
And then we're gonna sort of cut this in half. So you might ask, where do you get the starter from? And in our case, a friend of ours, her sister is the one that provided the starter. So I'm not sure where you would get it commercially, but that's where we got our starter. All right, so with this, Chris, tell me, what am I doing here?
So you need to work the dough a little. So in order to do that, you don't want to work it too much to work the bubbles out.
Okay.
But you're going to kind of stretch that and fold it. Yep.
Okay.
And it's going to be really sticky in the beginning.
It's sticky.
Yeah. And then the other direction, stretch it out and then fold it in on itself.
Okay. Like that.
And again.
Like that.
And then I put the fold side down.
Okay.
And then it's going to rest and rise. So there you go.
Okay.
And then,
so don't overwork it because that way it messes with the bubbles.
Well, I say the bubbles, but yeah,
okay. So,
we like bubbles in the dough.
And I want to do the same with this one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and now what happens after this?
So we're going to do this a few times today.
Okay.
Because every time we do this, we're going to let it rest and it'll rise.
Okay.
And then it just starts to firm up a little bit. It becomes a little less sticky. And about doing it, I don't know, about 3, sometimes 4 times, depending on the look of the dough. And then you're ready to bake. So we'll be baking this today.
And then do we refrigerate this?
Nope. Room temperature.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to cover this with saran wrap.
Yep.
And then we will meet again for the next one.
Okay.
All right. All right, guys. It's been about 2.5 hours since we split the dough into 2 loaves, and they've both been covered. The one on the left, this one right here, you can really tell because it's in a smaller bowl how much it's grown in size. So the next part of this process is going to be just kind of pulling it apart and folding it over on itself. So I want to show you what that looks like. Okay, so what I need to do is pull out each loaf and kind of pull it and fold it in on itself. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Just kind of stretch it out a little bit.
Okay. Right. So, pull it out about like this.
Yep.
And then fold it over. And over like that. Is that?
Yeah, and then you turn it and do it the other way.
Okay. All right.
It looks like you're holding a baby.
Okay. So we'll set that back in this bowl. And I'll do it the exact same thing with this loaf. So how often are we going to do this?
Typically it's 3 to 4 times.
Okay.
Like if you'll notice, like it doesn't tear as much. Like so
each time it's more elastic. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll do this 3 or 4 more times over the course of what?
Probably just 2 more times.
2 more times, and then the next one will be when?
In about an hour.
In an hour. Okay. So I'll tell you what. I'm probably not going to film that, but over the next couple hours, I'll do this exact same thing for a total of 3 times, and then we'll circle back around to the next part of the process.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right, so we've done that stretching and folding thing about 3 times today, and you can tell when you're kind of more or less done enough of that when it stops sticking to your hands as much. So I'm going to show you this right here. That thing is just bursting out of the bowl. The other one is huge too. It's just in a bigger bowl, so it's not quite as dramatic. All right, so what we've done is we've preheated the oven to 450 degrees convection with the Dutch oven in there. So I'm going to pull the Dutch oven out, and it's going to be hot. So I got to remind myself, this thing's hot. Okay, so walk me through the next part of this.
Well, you need some space for some parchment. So you need to lay out enough parchment. Don't touch the pan. So that it'll come up the sides when you set that in there.
Okay, this is probably way too much, but maybe we can cut it or something.
It's all right, we'll figure it out.
All right.
So I usually, hold on, you might tear it like that. I usually lay it flat on the surface of the countertop and pour it onto the paper, and then I lift up the paper with the dough.
Okay. So let's do this. Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Now, what's the trick on this?
So now you don't want to knead it.
Okay.
You want it just to be the way it is because you want all the air. You can kind of help it out.
Okay.
But you want to leave as much air in it as possible because that creates the nice...
So just kind of
flop it out. Yep.
Okay. And then we're going to pick this up.
Yep.
Put this into... That's crazy, huh? Okay. And maybe cut this.
Well, yeah, you have scissors right there because you're going to cut into the dough, so you can use those.
Okay.
Okay. You can use scissors or a sharp knife.
All right, I'm just going to show this to the camera, how that looks.
Watch out, don't pour it too far.
Okay.
So you're going to make a few cuts in the top so that when it's cooking, it doesn't split open on its own, that it has some...
Okay, so...
About 1/2 inch deep. Yeah, keep on. Like big, yeah.
Just as a, like make an X.
Yeah, you can like make an X.
Okay.
About 1/2 inch deep. That's good, that's good.
Okay, and so...
now,
go ahead.
You're going to spray it with water. 2 sprays should be enough. That's good, that's good.
That's good?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so what I read on this was that that there's instances of the starter being dehydrated. And so they actually found some dehydrated starter that's like centuries old and brought it back. So there's actually starter that's from like the Egyptian or the Roman times. And the Alaskan gold miners would use dehydrated starter. That's how they would transport it. So anyways, all right, so put the lid on.
Yep.
And then we're putting this in the oven.
Yes.
All right, and for how long?
40 to 50 minutes, so we'll check it at 40 minutes.
Check it at 40, okay. For 150 degrees, 40 minutes. All right, and we'll check back at that time. All right, you guys, here it is. Okay, we're gonna check it. It's been, I think, 40 minutes, yeah?
40 minutes. Careful. Don't.
Okay. What do you think about that?
I think it looks pretty good. I'd actually leave the top off.
Okay. We'll put the lid to the side. Do you want to maybe put it in there for maybe 3 more minutes? Or?
I don't even know if we need that long. Maybe 2 minutes.
Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, this looks good. If you could smell this right now, you would absolutely be going crazy. Okay, what's the best way to get this onto this cooling rack?
I usually just grab the paper.
Paper, okay.
But don't burn yourself.
Okay, like that.
Yep.
And then you just kind of slide it. this was no easier. All right. Zoom in on this. This is crazy. This is beautiful. It wants this light on me. Look at that golden brown top.
Yep.
This is gonna be good. Okay, so how long does it have to cool before we can cut into this thing?
You're supposed to wait an hour, but as we know, you never do.
Okay, we're gonna give this about an hour, and then we're gonna cut into this thing, and I'll give you a review of the finished product.
Okay.
All right, you guys, it's been about an hour, and you can see it's just perfectly golden crust. And when I push on it, there's some give there, which to me tells me this is going to be amazing. So, all right, I'm going to cut into this thing. It cuts really easily. You can see a bunch how fluffy it is. Our first few attempts at this, it was kind of dense, but I'm gonna test drive this for you guys since you can't try it. I wish you were here. You could smell it. You'd be impressed and super hungry. All right. Oh yeah, that's good. It's crust is crispy and a little chewy. And you can see that air pocket there. There's a bunch of air that got in there, so it makes it real fluffy and light. This is good. All right, there you have it. That's how you make the best sourdough you've ever had, right in your own kitchen. So please like, subscribe, ring the bell, share this with your friends. Thank you for watching. Life is action. Do something. Thank you for watching, everyone. Remember, life is action. Do something.